Hi Fad Campers, it's Grace here and I have some new stand updates I'd love to tell you about. If you're based in the UK, I will be doing some dates in July and August and I'd love to see some of you there. I'll be in Leeds doing a work in progress with Amy Annette on July 4th in the Hyde Park Book Club. I'll be in Brighton on July 6th with Alison Spittle in the Comedia Comedy Club, and I'm going to be doing my own work in progress show in Glasgow on July 12th at Good Egg Comedy. Also then, I will be at the Edinburgh Fringe, of course, for the entirety of August, from July 30th to August 24th. I'll be at the Assembly George's Square, the Crate, 10 to 3 every day. Would love if you could tell anyone you know who's going to be at the Edinburgh Fringe to come see my show. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
Hi guys, Grace here, your favourite presenter from Fad Camp. As you well know, I am a stand-up comedian and I'm doing a few dates around the UK. So if you're in any of these areas, please come see my show if you can. I would love to see you there. I'm doing some work in progress shows, which you'll get to see me do all new material, try and fail on stage, but we'll have a great time. So I'm going to be in London. I'm doing Top Secret March 6th. That's Top Secret, so you can check it out. Angel, I'm doing April 11th, and then I'm doing another show on Top Secret June 15th. If you are in Scotland, I'm doing the Glasgow International Comedy Festival May 21st, and Brighton. I'm going to be there in Brighton. I'm doing the Brighton Fringe May 30th. You can find all of these details on my Instagram page. That's Grace Mulvey Comedy. You can see the Linktree account there, and you just click on the link in my bio and it'll have all the details. Thanks.
What's the best way to reduce? Eat plenty or starve yourself?
30 pounds in just 18 weeks. Jenny Craig totally worked.
I love to eat, but overeating made it impossible to lose weight.
My body wants bread, and I'm going to give my body what it wants.
Oh my God.
So I lost
Naturally.
Medical studies prove that overeating is the number one reason for weight gain. If you need help losing weight, use Slice Naturals Weight Loss Way and bring your weight down without the use of exercise.
Welcome to Fad Camp, a podcast that throws a comedy eye over our societal obsession of diets. Now, a little disclaimer, we are not health experts, but we are fad diet connoisseurs. I'm your host, comedian Grace Mulvey.
And I'm your co-host, Connor Dowling.
Welcome to Fad Camp.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Fad Camp. Connor, how are you getting on?
Oh, Grace, I'm delighted with life. Delighted to be here.
Oh, the energy in this room today, guys.
Little much.
Little much. We've already recorded an episode. And by the way, when you hear that episode, you'll be like, wow, that was the first one of the day. Because we were like, but
now we're warmed up.
Now we're warmed up. We're coming back down to earth here, folks.
A little bit.
This is going to be one of my favourite episodes, I know, for sure. Because I love an episode that comes from a listener.
Way to set up high expectations.
This is going to be the best episode of Fad
You're
Camp you've ever
for
heard.
The oral experience of your life.
Get ready, folks. It doesn't get better than this. No, I said this type of episode is my favourite type of episode because it's an episode that comes from a listener.
Amazing. We don't get to do them that often, but when we do...
When we do, we go in deep.
It's Carlsberg up in here, baby.
We're still so giddy.
That's
Why
mini
are we
catchphrase.
So
we're talking Carlsberg. You know what I'm saying? Don't even drink.
I don't even know what we're talking about. So, we occasionally get emails in. We get emails in all the time from listeners. It's fantastic. And sometimes we get emails where people really go into detail about kind of their story. And
amazing. We
ask for permission if we can read this out.
Yes.
And we got permission from this fabulous listener. I won't give out her real name, so I'll change her name to Mary, right?
Mary.
But Mary sent in this email and we're going to go through it now. Before we do, though, I just want to call out one other listener of the show. Anna.
Let's call them out. We're cancelling a listener today.
I'm cancelling left, right and centre. I want to thank Anna from Canada. She came to my show on Wednesday.
No way.
Wednesday night in London. I was doing a work in progress show because I'm doing the Edinburgh Fringe. Ooh.
Nice one.
And I'm getting a show together and I did a work in progress show in London.
Wow.
And before the show, I was sitting at the front and this wonderful woman, Anna, came up and she was like, I'm a listener from Fad Camp. She was so amazing. Oh. And we had a lovely chat. But I will say, right, before shows, I tend to be a bit nervous.
Okay.
So I'm not always the most clued
right.
in. Anyway, I didn't get to say hi to Anna or say goodbye to her before I left.
Yes.
So I just want to say, Anna, you're a legend. Thanks so much for coming. You're from Canada, so you know the one I'm speaking to right now.
Amazing.
It was so lovely to meet you.
Amazing.
But yeah, anyway, guys, I have more shows coming up. We put a little thing in before the episode, but it's so lovely to actually meet. It's
That's
so
so
lovely
cool.
to meet listeners.
I love
like,
that.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's go into this episode. Did you forget to read this email, Connor?
I've read. I try to read them as much as possible,
Yeah.
but
Because I said I grabbed this and went, listen, I want to talk about
Sometimes
this. Yeah.
I'll log into the email, and if the email has already been read by
Yeah.
someone else, I might not see that there's a new email
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Because we like to almost come forward with the topic and
Yes.
present it to each other.
Yes.
So I said to you, I was like, I've got this one from Mary. Yeah.
When is it from, roughly?
This? Oh, let me see.
Is it like recent or is it?
No,
like...
May 2023. This
Oh
came in.
wow!
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's been a while.
So there's a chance I read it like ages ago.
Yeah.
I might recognize it as you say it, but yeah.
She was like, your email.
Like, oh, that was one of the just to
"I'm
build the
Mary."
audience there, you know.
Yeah, it's like, imagine we have no listeners. And this is just us two talking to the air. Okay.
I was the listener who came to your show in London.
So listen, we got a lovely email from Mary. I'm just going to read it out here, okay? This really has to do with Mary's experience of being really a very active swimmer and what it was like for her.
I think I do remember this email.
So I just want to say, first of all, Mary said, hey there, fantastic people. Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is how I like to be addressed.
Hey there, fantastic people. So Mary says, let's dive right into these juicy stories about diets.
Dive in because she's a swimmer, right? Okay,
Mary,
love it. Love
you're
it.
crazy. I love this.
Grace had missed that. She didn't.
I actually did. You know what, Connor? Fuck off. Fuck off. Mary said, the good old days of my youth as a professional athlete, specifically an open water swimmer. Do you know open water swimmer?
Like
In
not
the
in a
sea.
pool. Yeah, like okay.
Not
yeah.
in the pool.
Yeah.
That's not
that
the pool.
non-pool water that everyone does at the beach. Is that what we're talking about?
Technically,
The one with like
a walk,
ships and fish
a
and
walk
stuff.
could be a non-pool swim. Anyway, Mary, like open water swimming is an intense type of swimming.
Wow.
You're swimming in the sea, okay?
It's
like
dangerous,
it's-
I assume.
it's
It's dangerous out there, folks.
Has Mary never seen Jaws?
Yeah.
It's dangerous
Mary,
out there.
get out of there, Mary.
We're never getting through this email. But no, it's open water swimming. Essentially, like
There is a film called Open Water that's like a...
it's about the two divers. Yeah, we're not going into this.
Okay.
We'll mention it in the bonus episode. But basically, open water swimming, like, you know, if you're swimming in a pool, you tend to be doing one form of swimming, which could be the butterfly, which could be like breaststroke. In open water
Doggy
swimming,
paddle.
doggy paddle,
If you're me.
you're doing the hedgehog. Don't know what that is. But if you're in open water swimming, because you are in the elements out in the sea, you have to be able to do every type and change it up.
Oh,
you
wow,
know,
okay.
It's like it's a different style because you're not like with currents and things like that. You have to adapt to basically the water around you. But as Mary goes on, my regular races were usually about 10 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
as the name suggests.
And you're racing? You're not just doing it
You're
for
racing
fun.
a shark.
You're racing in the water?
in the water.
With no vehicle?
Yeah. So my regular races were usually 10 kilometers in open ocean or lakes.
Wow.
Lakes as
Wow,
well.
okay.
The number one killer, other than treadmills. Lakes are actually very dangerous. Anyway, to prepare for the race, my life consisted of endless hours in the water, complemented by running and strength training. Balancing
goodness.
all that while still attending school made for a wild ride. I imagine so, Mary.
Yeah.
Fair play to you.
Sounds like all of your time outside of school is basically
Exactly. Taken up with
physical
this.
training.
And she said, I would rise before the sun, which is like, a beautiful phrase. I would rise before the sun, dragging myself out of bed at the ungodly hour of 4 a.m. and plunge into the water from 4:30 to 7 in the morning.
Wow.
We just did.
This is Mark Wahlberg territory, aka Mark Wahlberg o'clock.
Mark Wahlberg gets up at 2:30 in the morning. You're just about doing
Yeah.
that. You're Wahlberging through school. Then off to school from 8 to 3.
School, I can't even imagine. Like,
So 4:30 to 7, she's swimming. 8 to 3, she's going to school.
and this is high school. Like, this is secondary school.
I imagine
era.
so. She doesn't
Yeah.
specify, but I'm
Sounds-
hoping it's not toddler age.
I know, yeah. It sounds about right, though. But it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I struggled to get out of bed before, you know.
We've
Like,
discussed this. We had a 9 a.m. call to come
yeah.
in here.
And
And
we're
like,
very proud of ourselves.
you
for making
should
that.
hear the amount of times we were like, 9 a.m. We both got
Yeah.
here on time.
Can you believe it?
Jesus.
All the commuters on the train, me and Grace smiling at them like, guys, we did it. Us, right?
Imagine we like dressed up like in business suits with little business briefcases. We're like you.
Yeah. Tell me about it, right? The coffee, don't talk to me until I've had it.
Train times, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, then off to school from 8 to 3, only to return for another grueling session from 4 to 6:30 in the evening. Now this is really athleticism.
She ain't fucking around is what we're saying.
She ain't Mary ain't fucking around.
Yeah.
This routine repeated itself faithfully from Monday to Friday, with a cherry on top in the form of a 3 to 4 hour Saturday morning session.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
You can imagine my body demanded an impressive amount of calories to keep up with the madness, as it would.
Yeah.
And boy, did I eat. But here's the hilarious twist. I unknowingly caught up in what they now call orthorexia.
Right.
A fancy term, she said, I had no clue about back then. Right. Now, orthorexia, I'm going to go back to the email in a moment, which, by the way, again, incredibly well written.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredibly well written.
Also, I would like to point out as well about the calories for swimmers. I remember when I was reading my original Fad Diet Bible, The 4 Hour Body by Tim Ferriss, he famously says about Michael Phelps, the swimmer, who allegedly eats something like 10,000 calories a day. Like something like that's just not seems inhumanly possible. And it's because he spends most of his day like burning off all of that energy and fuel in the pool, you know. So it's.
Have you ever seen I just watched the film Naiad.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's great because it follows the swimmer who did the open water swimming like this. But she did, I think it was, I can't remember where, but to Cuba. No one had ever completed it. But she had to be fed like every hour and a half, like this sort of like gelatine, because she was like, basically,
it's just
she
like
would have lost
pure
20
calories.
pounds.
It's just,
because so like, and anyone, by the way, who's ever been to it, if I'm in a pool 2 minutes, I come out going, I'm starving.
Give us a packet of crisps, you know.
Starving.
And you're not supposed to eat for half an hour after swimming. So like it makes the day even like, you get a stitch and you drown.
That's before swimming.
Before, yeah, sorry.
No, I thought you said
sorry, sorry, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you're not supposed to swim until half an hour after eating. So
what
like,
time was she eating that in the morning, Mary? If she was going swimming at half 4.
Is she eating first? Do we know that? I don't think we
I know
know
we
those.
don't. Like,
I don't think we have those figures. Mary.
Okay, so I just want to talk a bit about orthorexia and I'll come back to the email. For people, we've kind of covered it before.
It's come up on the sidelines of other things, but not as a full topic, but it's very interesting.
So orthorexia nervosa is a proposed eating disorder.
Okay.
It is actually not classified yet.
Okay, yeah.
Characterized by the excessive preoccupation with eating quote-unquote healthy food. The term was introduced in 1997 by American physician Stephen Bratman. He suggested that some people's dietary restrictions intended to promote health may paradoxically lead to unhealthy consequences such as social isolation, anxiety, loss of ability to eat in a natural, intuitive manner, reduced interest in the full range of other healthy human activities, and in rare cases, severe malnutrition or even death. In 2009, Ursula Philpott, chair of the British Dietetic Association and a lecturer, described people with orthorexia nervosa as being solely concerned with the quality of the food they put in their bodies, refining and restricting their diets according to their personal understanding of which foods are truly pure, quote unquote. Now, this differs from other eating disorders because it's not focusing on the quantity of the food, but the quality of the food.
Yes.
So, and in another way that it differs from, say, anorexia nervosa or bulimia, is it does not disproportionately affect one gender.
Oh, interesting.
Studies have found that orthorexia nervosa is equally found in both men and women with no significant gender differences at all. And I find that so interesting. Yeah. Furthermore, research has found significant positive correlations between orthorexia nervosa and narcissism and or perfectionism.
Wow.
Who would you think would suffer from perfectionism if not athletes?
Right,
and,
okay.
You know, people who might, I don't know.
People who are in the spotlight.
People in the spotlight. And we just actually spoke before about, you know, very famous figures coming out with what they do, their morning routine and stuff like that. But there's no significant correlation between orthorexia nervosa and self-esteem.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. So listen, I just wanted to give a bit of background of it.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
I will say about orthorexia, again, it is not classified yet as an eating disorder. However, you know, I looked up Beat Eating Disorders, which is like a UK kind of eating disorder foundation. They also use Bateman as a sort of reference. This is the guy who coined the term for it. It's kind of now becoming more and more, I don't know if it's just not been studied enough in order to be deemed an eating disorder, but it's certainly something that I would be noticing within the wellness
Definitely. I
world.
mean, we talked about the wellness trap with Christy Harrison, and it feels like very much in that realm of getting to a point where, you know, nothing is clean enough.
Yeah.
You know, nothing can be clean enough to put into your body. So you end up restricting and obsessing and exhibiting a lot of the aspects of, at least this is my understanding of it, you know, obsessing over a lot of the aspects of what you're eating and what you're doing. Yeah. And it limits your experience of life, basically.
You talk about things like organic might have been the first one to come out where people were like, I'll only eat it if it's organic.
Yes.
You know, obviously that means you have a certain amount of privilege to go get organic food, but also it just means that you're demonizing other food, which, like, quote unquote, could be healthy. I do remember at certain points in my dieting journey, particularly when I was like around my say motivation days, when I had lost a significant amount of weight, if I was having a day where I was like, oh, I kind of need a snack or something, but like it wasn't exactly on plan, maybe I was having a loosey-goosey Sunday, I could be in a health shop and I swear to God, for an hour looking at the ingredients in the back of something, trying to find something that I would deem to have nothing impure or processed.
Yes.
I mean, what is that?
Or sugar or whatever. Yeah. And I remember the first time I heard about orthorexia was on some documentary, this Channel 4 documentary all about dieting and food and all that sort of thing. And it was a woman telling her story. And basically she said, and this is what I feel like is probably a very common trajectory for it. It's like you have some sort of health ailment, right? Maybe it's you're having stomach pains or headaches or skin outbreak or something like that. And somewhere you read or hear something that, oh, you know, that might be caused by, let's say, gluten or dairy or whatever, right? So you cut out that food item and you go, okay, no more gluten for me. Yeah. And maybe at first you're like, okay, I think I'm noticing a bit of a difference. Then after a while, you've stopped eating gluten, which is a massive food group, you know, that you're cutting out. It's a difficult thing to do. And your symptoms persist and you go, oh, well, if it's not that, then maybe it's the dairy. Okay, I cut the dairy out. And then after a while, you're like, oh, well, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's nuts. Maybe it's
wheat.
It's wheat. It's this and that. And until you're like, okay, well, what can I actually eat anymore?
And then also, can I just say,
I still feel unwell.
Yeah, you're still feeling well. And then if you then go back and eat gluten again, guess how you're going to feel?
Totally.
Horrendous.
Exactly.
Because like
your body's not used to it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Baby Tribe podcast, your essential companion through the journey of parenting. I'm Professor Afif Al-Kafash, a neonatologist, paediatrician, researcher and lactation consultant at the Rotunda Hospital Dublin and the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland.
And I'm Katie Mugan, a paediatric and public health nurse and a lactation consultant. Together, with over 40 years of experience in caring for infants and children, we're here to share expert insights, inspiring stories, and give you access to an amazing array of experts in parenting and the field of paediatrics. And we're covering topics that span all the childhood years, from infancy straight through to the adolescence. We're going to cover it all.
It's not going to be just about the challenges, it's going to be about the joys, the milestones, and stories that will hopefully warm your heart. And I'm sure, Katie, you're still going to give me as much abuse as you did before.
It's going to be a great season of Afif, and we're so pleased to have all you guys join with us.
Available every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts, in association with the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
Listen, there's a lot of like different criteria of it. There's kind of two separate criteria that in 2016 were proposed in the peer-reviewed Journal of Eating Behaviours by Tom Dunn and Stephen Bratman. One is like, the first criteria is obsessive focus on healthy, quote unquote, eating, and then the second criteria would be compulsive behaviour and mental preoccupation. I mean, these are kind of like, you know, like, kind of that you could link that to any type of eating disorder. So it's just interesting to me. I wonder when it will be fully termed an eating disorder. Let's go back to the email. Let's go back to Mary's email, right?
Hey, Mary.
So, hey, Mary. So she, at this point, says herself, at this point, that's what I would now call orthorexia.
Right.
She says, I vividly remember a rather ridiculous incident where I refused to gobble up a decorative strawberry from my dad's dessert plate. Why, you ask? Brace yourself for the absurdity. It had a tiny speck of icing sugar on it.
Wow.
Can you believe my dedication to perfection? It was as if I had become a snobby food inspector on a mission. That rang so true to me. That you would see a strawberry on your dad's dessert plate. Oh, do you want the strawberry? Oh, it has a bit of icing sugar on it. Like, that's the level.
Yeah.
And I totally get that.
As if that's going to make the whole house of cards fall down.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Sure, I remember, again, on Motivation, they had a restrictive vegetable list. So you can only have one of those restrictive vegetables. And I had already had it. And then my dad made a meal specifically for me on this diet. And he put in yellow peppers. And I near lost my goddamn mind. I was like, I can't eat those. My poor dad.
Grace, I remember having a diet meal being made for me by my partner years ago, and when she added something that wasn't on the recipe to the meal, I was like, whoa. Grace, do you know what that item was?
What was it?
Herbs.
Shut.
Like, as in oregano, like extra.
Shut up.
And I was like, whoa. That's not on the recipe, And she was like,
are you trying to kill me?
Are you fucking high?
Oh, do you want to make this meal tasty? Is that what you're telling me? You want to give it flavor?
Trying to sabotage me here? So it's just like, now obviously I look back, and even very shortly after that, and even from her reaction, I was like, oh yeah, of course, that's not going to make a difference. But you get so hung up.
You are told by
Do not deviate.
Quote
Do not
unquote
deviate.
experts, that you're ruining your life. You're not exactly following this. No wonder we get into
Don't
these
make a
things.
pig of yourself in those herbs, Connor.
So Mary goes on. Now let me introduce you to the wonderful influence of my swim coach. Oh, swimming in my beloved Australia during those days was a bit of a toxic soup overall. My coach had this peculiar habit of subjecting every swimmer to the dreaded fat calipers once a week.
Oh God, like a big old tweezers.
Yeah. Imagine being a teenage girl standing there while a middle-aged man pinched your flesh, assessing your fat content. Yep, it was every bit as delightful as it sounds.
That's
and to add icing to the cake, pun intended, Mary, I love you.
Oh, I love it.
I was constantly encouraged to shed weight.
Yeah.
At that time, I was already 50 kilograms and a towering 177 centimeters. Mind you, open water swimmers aren't exactly your stereotypical sleek and slender swimmer types.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be sturdy like human boys.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that a middle-aged man could take a massive, basically, pair of tweezers and start pinching your fat,
That's
assessing
horrendous.
your fat. First of all, obviously, it's teenage girls who are
highly
incredibly susceptible. But it's the fact that it's like that type of swimming, as Mary says. Why wouldn't you want to be want a sturdy person who can take on the sea?
Totally.
You want to take on the sea?
Totally.
Poseidon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to be sturdy.
You ever seen Aquaman?
You're telling me Aquaman
He's
is
trying
on a
to
diet?
be as thin as possible? No.
Yeah. Mary goes on, to put icing on the icing, one of the girls from our team ended up in the hospital due to anorexia.
Yeah.
And the coaches seemed to shrug it off like it was no big deal. She said, since bidding farewell to the world of competitive swimming, my journey to heal my relationship with exercise has been quite the uphill battle. But guess what? She said, your podcast has become my ultimate companion during those gym sessions, pumping me up with laughter and wisdom.
Oh.
Who would have thought that a podcast could be my personal cheerleader?
Oh.
Now listen, Mary, thank you so much for saying that.
Thank you.
But I think that you yourself have pulled yourself up from that. You know what I mean? Like the work you've done. Like, because I think about my experiences as a teenager and like comments that would be made to me and stuff. I never would have experienced
that level of
someone literally like assessing my fat in front of other people. And for a young woman to end up with anorexia in a hospital and I think it's not even just the coaches. But obviously, it's the entire atmosphere and the misunderstanding of what is going on, like the culture around it. How no one could turn around and go like, "So someone's ended up in hospital. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here?" Because what it is aesthetics. You don't care that these athletes, because like that training that Mary was doing, that's an athlete's training. That these athletes aren't like running at their full power. It's more that you don't like that they might have muscles in certain places.
It just becomes so aesthetic. And this is crazy actually, because this reminds me one of my very first ever introductions on TV to anorexia and eating disorders, right? Can't think of the name of the show. I can never remember the name of the show, but it was one of these shows that was on like, did you have like TCC, like the children's channel?
Oh, yeah.
And there was a lot of these like programs from like Australia where
we, by the way, in Ireland, obsessed with Australian television.
I know, because
like,
that's
Mary,
what we were
given. You're Australian, I was like, you're like a celebrity.
We're like, like Round the Twist and, Poke Wall and stuff like that. But there was this show, it might not have been Australian, it might have been American or Canadian, but it was these two girls, teenage girls, and they were like best friends. And the friend of the main girl had this like red beret. She wore a red beret and she was like pale with like black hair. But the main girl was a swimmer, and she was being pressured by her swim coach to like lose weight, and she was self-conscious of her body in the swimsuit, so she started starving herself. And I have vivid memories. We're talking childhood, like TCC and Left Irish TV is like,
you would have been like, it would have been 90s, like,
I was 6-7 years old, like super like young. And I remember there was this really like visceral scene where she has been starving herself for days, and she has a big swim meet or a swim race or whatever in a pool, unlike our listener or our
listener going out swimming with the sharks.
Ocean, on an empty stomach. So there's this thing, and she's all faint and she's tired, and there's a scene where she's like has to do the swimming, and she's like under the water, and the camera is like her POV under the water, and she's like having like little kind of mini blackouts, and she like faints under the water due to starvation. Like, so that's like one of my earliest memories.
And you know what's so funny, because that I just said like obviously there's a culture there, right? But obviously people knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
Because if someone's writing that show then.
Yes, in the early to mid 90s. Like.
Yeah, we obviously knew that something wasn't right here.
Yes.
Would you believe this isn't just, like, that this issue is actually a bit more widespread? Because when I got Mary's email, I randomly had come across an article about Swim England having basically a bunch of allegations come out with a number of swimmers, about 100 kind of signing and coming out with their own experiences, basically nearly similar to Mary's. Now, and like, because when you get an email like this, we all think, oh, was this just me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, well, no, it's really not.
Wow.
Swim England, this is from an article in 2023. Swim England is to ban the weighing of children at its clubs after swimmers spoke out about suffering eating disorders and mental health issues. The governing body said that the new policy would tackle disordered eating, anxiety and depression. Now, that's fantastic that it's doing that. But 2023.
Oh my goodness.
2023 is the first time someone, you know what, we shouldn't be weighing these kids. You want to go swim?
That's crazy.
You joking me?
Yeah.
By the way, we're weightless in water. Anyway.
Like
has no one thought about this?
It's not like and we've already done an episode on this, but like heavyweight, like boxing fights and stuff like that. It's not like that. Does it give you an advantage being like that much?
Like,
are they
know.
like, oh no, you're too light to race against this person, so you'll be faster? Like, I don't think that's the thing.
I don't know if that works.
I really don't think.
Guys, I mean, correct me.
Show me the science. Is what I want to like.
Olympic medalist Cassie Patton, who says she was left broken following comments by coaches, welcomed the move. Patton said that there have been too many instances in the past of unacceptable behaviour around weighing athletes, and this policy sets out the parameters to prevent that inappropriate conduct happening in the future. She goes on, performance is a key part of an athlete's development, but we also need to prioritise their mental health and well-being. She said this policy ensures that there is an education and support in place to help reduce the risks of athletes potentially developing an eating disorder / disordered eating or other mental health concerns. Patton, who won a bronze medal in open water swimming at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, has been appointed Swim England's new oversight committee onto the new oversight committee. She said she could not put on a swimming costume for years after leaving the sport. That's how damaged she was.
Right. Yeah.
Swim England guidelines around weighing in November 2021. They brought in the guidelines, in 2021, but in 2023 they said it would become policy So they brought in the guidelines, and then 2023 we're like, actually, we should probably make people do this. The chief executive, Jack Nickerson,
That's a fun name.
great name, has apologised to swimmers who had suffered and vowed to change a bullying culture in the sport. Because that's also where it comes from. It is a bullying culture.
Yeah.
Like even when Mary was talking about the coach doing that, like to take out those kind of capiters, she was
like
saying.
we need, like, I feel like I'm constantly hearing stories of, you know, women our age who have a memory of an inappropriate middle-aged male, whether it's a PE coach or an actual dedicated like sports team coach, that had a lot of judgments over their body and appearance, you know, for the sport, that often and pretty much always was like inconsequential to their actual performance in the sport or in the class, you know.
Well, here's the link again to what we think female athletes should look like and what they do look like. And what I mean by that is that we expect, and I'm going to not blame even films, but I'm going to say films are part of it. If you continue to hire actresses who are like just very svelte, slim people,
petite,
no problem, and you're like, this person is a Wimbledon winning tennis player. I'm like, well, are they? Like, or they're the strongest woman in the world. They play a superhero. It's the strongest woman in the world. And I'm like, I'm being perfectly nice here, but they don't look like they could pick up their own handbag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And again, like they probably can, but what I'm saying is that it's like, what does strength look like in women? We actually don't really know because we don't allow the diversity of what it looks like. Yes, you can have very slender, thin women who are going to be very strong. But if you're going to go to the Olympics and you look at like, say the Olympic weightlifters, what do they look like? Do they look the same as, say, like the Marvel actresses? Yeah. No, they don't. There's not a diversity of the bodies that we see. And it's because for a long time there was no investment in women's sports. And they made more money out of sponsorships, out of like modelling perhaps, than they would actually winning the sport. Now listen, I know I'm going off on a tangent here. I just want to go back to the swimming specifically. So new guidelines basically says that club coaches should not weigh under 18s and that the growth should only be measured according to like the teenager's height, kind of like to get that ability. But over 18s kind of still will be done. Yeah. But I think what they're trying to do is the approach will be more like, you know, kind of your weight mightn't matter, isn't it? This is me taking it. Mightn't matter as much as like you're all over performance really and your nutrition. Now, fitness influencer Lucy Davis said it was amazing that Swim England had announced the policy, as she also had suffered mentally and physically from the practice. She said, and I quote, she said, we never needed to be a certain size to perform at our best. And that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Why do you need to be a certain size to be an excellent swimmer?
Exactly.
You know?
And let's say in the situation that you're an athlete and you're, you know, training and your coach notices that your performance could be better. Let's say that that's what's happening, right? Why is fat loss the thing that you focus on?
Yeah.
And I would say that there's a correlation with how when we in our personal lives feel like we could be doing better, we tend to look in the mirror and go, I could lose fat.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always fat loss first. If we can do better and it's anything to do with our physicality, straight away it's fat loss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that we tend to latch onto. Now, obviously, and this is something that I think is super interesting because, like, you know, Grace and I, like, you and I, we don't have backgrounds as professional athletes or like as competitive athletes, despite our you know, our brief experiences with you know, exercise. Although I do know you ran a marathon, so
I've run two.
Quick to correct me there, wasn't she? Well, okay, I have never been a professional athlete, but what I have found is a lot of people I know who've come to me to say that they enjoy Fad Camp.
Fad Camp, you're about to say. Freudian slip.
Who enjoy Fad Camp are people who I know who have been former, like, you know, track and field runners or personal trainers, that kind of thing. Or like our listener Mary, you know, and it I don't think either of us were expecting that when we started Fad Camp.
No, if anything, we were expecting possibly some backlash.
Yeah, and from people like that going like, no, this is my life. What are you talking about? But we're like, they're going, oh, this is, I relate to so much of this. And we're going, oh, we thought it was just, you know, people like us who didn't,
People who were like, I grew up, I was a fat kid. Genuinely, it's only.
I was heavily rejected from all sports. Let me just make that very clear. And I have a chip on my shoulder that will not go away anytime soon. So
a chip on my shoulder that I've eaten.
Yes. And when they say they've listened to my show, I'm like, how dare you? This is my place.
Back off, pal. No, but it's so true. Like, I think one thing that I found so remarkable is that I have friends in my life who always would have been, like, let's be honest, within the culturally accepted way of looking in terms of their weight and stuff like that. And they've come to me and they're like, oh yeah, I've had stuff said to me. Oh yeah, I've had this experience with a doctor. Oh yeah. And I'm like, oh, so it's all of us policing each other.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I know.
I want to go back to Lucy Davis here, the fitness influencer. She said her eating disorder began when she left swimming at the age of 18. It followed years of being weighed. She said it followed years of being weighed in front of others and being encouraged to restrict food. Now, she said this to the BBC in an article. She said, I always thought it was so embarrassing as a young girl to be weighed in front of people. This was mainly at high-end competitions or camps.
Ugh.
But it just felt horrible.
Yeah.
She said she swam nationally and internationally, and at one swimming camp, the girls were weighed, and it was found that they were slightly heavier after enjoying Christmas with their families. She said we were basically shouted at as a whole for putting on some weight over Christmas. It was mortifying. We used to hide snacks in our rooms so we could eat something else other than what was deemed healthy. Healthy is balance, not cutting out foods or restrictions, she said. Now that's interesting. And we're coming into the shame of food, the shame of eating.
Meanwhile, another diet book that I mentioned at the start is celebrating Michael Phelps for eating 10,000 calories a day because he's such an amazing swimmer. And it's like, but meanwhile, you've got these girls who are putting their body through absolute torture, just as part of the actual process of swimming alone.
Yeah.
And then they're being shamed for the types of foods that they're eating.
And also women have more fat on them. And these girls, from what I gather, were going through their teenage years. I'm wondering how that affected their puberty at all. I wonder how that affected their development. That you're so right, actually. I remember that Michael Phelps thing coming out. By the way, when I saw his daily thing, I was like, that's a hangover day for me, pal.
Yeah.
I was like, people were like, whoa. I was like,
nah. I went for a little dip in the sea there earlier,
I touched my toes in the water. Might as well have that. But and then these girls are being like, oh, we had to hide snacks because we'd get to eat something that wasn't just what they allowed us to eat. Are you fucking kidding me?
They're probably fucking starving.
I get just so angry about this because I'm like, why do we think women then fall out of sports?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because even when you are like training and you're like you're getting to a kind of professional stage, you're still being told, oh, by the way, first and foremost though, you want to look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? Like she said, Davis said she became obsessed with losing fat as soon as she stopped swimming, and her eating disorder began at university, lasting for 5 years. She said, I felt too big and I was very confused about what I should and should not eat, which was ingrained into me from swimming.
And now if you've left swimming, you no longer have the outlet of...
Absolutely. And as well, and that feeling you earned it,
yes,
quote unquote.
all of that,
Yeah. So, I have to say, it wasn't just when it comes to swimming, okay? And I will say, I would love to hear from some listeners if you want us to do this. I have come across kind of eating disorder, kind of like things coming out of different sports. So I saw there's been a lot about ballet, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Weightlifting, a lot where the aesthetic kind of comes into play a bit. There's a lot of people now speaking out. So if you would like us to do some kind of more episodes, they'd probably be a bit shorter, focusing in on certain volleyball being another one, certain sports, let us know, because I obviously from this we decided to go in with the swimming and there was a lot there. But I just want to talk also, I did notice a few men coming out and talking about it as well, and this was very interesting to me. So Tom Daly, who is a very famous British Olympic diver, revealed, and this again was in 2023, that he had developed an eating disorder after the sports performance director Alexei Evangelov, excuse me if I'm not saying that correctly, told him to lose weight when he was 17. The mother of one teenager who recently gave up competitive swimming told The Times that in her exit interview, giving feedback to the coaches, the teenager raised the fact that the weighing juniors was wrong. She said, "Don't weigh kids; it makes them sad." But the coaches would not accept it. The mother asked to remain anonymous. I flagged Swim England, that they had a national risk, but there were no clear guidelines for the coaches. The guidelines state that the body weight can fluctuate up to 3 kilograms from one day to another, depending on multiple factors such as hydration, multiple muscle stores, the menstrual cycle, and that the body weight increasing was not a confirmation of an increase of body fat. They also state the body weight increases particularly during adolescence, as we mentioned.
Absolutely. It's constantly fluctuating. So like to put them under that much scrutiny is just wrong. It's just categorically wrong.
Another former Team Great Britain swimmer, Patton, sacrificed many things in her childhood to focus on swimming and was rewarded again, as I mentioned earlier, with a bronze medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. She said her adoration for the sport was quickly replaced with loathing when she began suffering serious disordered eating after becoming fixated on losing weight on her coach's instructions. She said a massive disproportionate amount of focus had been put on her physique after she had put on some weight following her Olympic success. She said, I made myself sick, not drink anything the night before. I'd be going to the toilet several times during my weigh-ins, anything to get to the lowest possible number on the scales, she said. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Does
like,
that benefit anyone?
I know. And I honestly don't know what a training session looks like for sport, but I like to imagine. No.
I'd say I'd crush it.
No, but again, I come back to if you're worried about someone's performance and your answer is lose more weight, get to the lowest number possible on scales, why can't you just, if some change has to be made, why can't your advice to your athletes be get stronger, work on your endurance, practice the laps or whatever it is more, or, with stronger intensity, whatever it is, and put that weight thing like far in the back of your head.
Yeah. Even if you as a coach do think that the weight is holding them back, right? And again, it's like this. Why don't you go with the approach of, okay, listen, how are we getting on?
Yeah.
How about a bit of rest?
Yes.
How are you seeing your friends enough? How and then start picturing yourself.
Yeah.
Actually doing these swims,
like a holistic kind of approach.
Again, we're not experts, but it's more just this thing of I want you to be able to do this really big swim. Don't eat anything.
Yeah.
Make sure now your body's really on survival mode.
Yeah, and it is giving echoes of the MMA weight cutting episode we did, where you're. I know.
Even the thought of it makes me. Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember the image of Conor McGregor where he is like Skeletor, like scary. But you're sending these people into like a violent, like aggressive fight. Unfed, malnourished.
I was say nothing makes me angrier than being hungry. So maybe that's
strategy. Okay, I like it.
Strategy is like, are you a bit hangry?
Yeah.
Fight.
Now hop in the sea and race somebody there. So it's like, how does that equate to? Oh, my body's going to be its optimal condition for this endurance test I'm about to face, whether it's a fight or swim or a tennis match or whatever. Like
in a recent poll, right, of Britain's elite female athletes by BT Sport, 67% said they feared that the public and media valued their appearance over their sporting achievements. 67.
Which is crazy considering that while they're swimming, only their head is visible.
Girls, as long as you've got the Botox and the eyebrows done, you're fine.
Do you know what I mean? And the swim cap is covering the hair. You don't even have to worry about the hair. But do you know what I mean? It's like, so what? The part where you're standing ready to dive is the part where...
That's all we care about.
The media, the audiences will be scrutinising. Oh, she's a bit this, she's a bit that,
Is that cellulite, I think?
Yeah.
They thought that how they looked was more important to the public than the medals they won. Meanwhile, more than 89% said they could relate to British Olympic swimmer Rebecca Aldington's I'm a Celebrity TV meltdown about her body issues, insecurities. So, and 76% said the same concerns had influenced their diet and training regimes. I just want to show you the clip actually. So Rebecca Aldington went on I'm a Celebrity in 2013. Now, basically there was, I don't know the rest of the contestants that took part in that, but it was a bunch of women who were kind of having a conversation. One, I think, was like some sort of influencer model, and it kind of just came up about like maybe the fact that this woman, it seemed kind of a judgmental conversation about that this model woman, I don't know her name, was getting work done.
Okay.
I don't love that because I think actually people are allowed to do with their bodies again what they want, and I think if people want to get work done, go for it. But it just, I think, brought up a lot for Rebecca, who is the Olympic swimmer we're speaking about, and you're going to hear her talk about it now, okay?
And it's also making people like me very, very insecure that I have to look like
in
for
a certain way.
I was an athlete. I wasn't trying to be a model. Yet pretty much every single week on Twitter, I get somebody comment on the way I look.
Yeah.
We're made to think that being a size 12 and 14 like I am isn't attractive, that you have to have big hair and big boobs and all this, and it makes you feel so crap about yourself. Sorry.
You've got a gold medal. No one else says.
That's what should be celebrated in life.
Yeah.
Achievement.
Yeah, like when a gold medal isn't enough.
When a gold Olympic medal winner is sitting crying because she doesn't think she's pretty enough. I mean, it's almost like the bit from Barbie where it's like Barbie's like, I don't think I'm good enough. Like, what do we have to do? And I think there was something, you know, that's, you know, I didn't love the conversation around it, which is like, oh, if I don't have big boobs, like this woman has big boobs and has big hair, go for her. You know what I mean? I don't love that. We're not blaming that woman, but it's more just the fact that this Olympic medalist is being brought to tears on TV because her appearance was torn down so much, and she represented her country.
Yeah.
Like, she made her country proud, and that's still not enough. And like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm sure there's been plenty of male athletes in their times who's looked like an old shoe, and it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because guess what? His achievement's so amazing. And it shouldn't matter regardless of any gender.
Exactly.
But it's that thing of like, if you have then an Olympic gold medal at the top of her class, what happened to the many, many girls who dropped away?
Oh, yeah.
Because they were told they were too fat, or they were told at the wrong time, and they could have been Olympic gold medalists. Like, it makes me sad to think sometimes about what diet culture has robbed us of. Not only individually, us ourselves, like with things we could have enjoyed in our lives, but just people who might have gone on to be Olympic athletes. It might have been their dream, and then they were told, no, you got a bit of a tummy there. And then they were like, oh, I could never do that. Or they ended up having eating disorders. Or it just, this fixation on aesthetic of our bodies robs us of so much. And the fact that they're the people who are the ones that we would look up to, the Olympians, are also just like, oh yeah, like I cry. Like I feel like actually it probably would have just been better for me to look different instead of win that medal. I'm going to read out a few more facts, right? Just women in sport. And I know that, again, like, you know, for all the guys out there, might be some male athletes listening in. You know, I hope you guys are okay as well. I don't hear as much from you guys. There's not as much. I don't know if there's maybe not enough male athletes speaking out about it. I mean, reading about Tom Daley there was amazing because he's like one of the biggest stars in Olympic swimming.
Yeah, and it just kind of, I think it's like, it's even like if you go back to like, you know, the last episode we recorded where we were looking at Mark Wahlberg, and he's like telling us about his daily routine. Meanwhile, there's some man like just patting him down like a farm animal.
Yeah.
You know, there's just this assumption that, oh, they're athletes or actors or models. Their appearance is fair game. It belongs to us. We can, you know, pat it down and, you know, have our say and our judgment, and they don't really get any kind of they don't get to have a reaction to it, you know. And
they don't get to own their own body.
No.
Like there's something like it, we own it. And I just
the
think
people
like,
own it, yeah.
Yeah, I think for models and, you know, or actors and stuff, I'm just like, listen, you were born with good looks, fair play. It's great. It's nice to look at you.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I hope you're enjoying your life. Beauty comes in so many different ways. I'm just like, why not like applaud someone who is modelling and has a great career at it? Good for you. I'm sure it comes with some hardships as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know
it's also like if you have the audacity to say that
to enjoy your looks,
or to say that I am top of my field in something as an actor or performer or model or an athlete, then we're going to find something that's going to kind of take you down a peg or two, you know? And that's just so harsh. And I think it is interesting to see that the Tim Daley, talking about it because, Tom Daley, because it's like...
That's you taking him down. Tim, is it?
Tim is a Timmy boy.
Oh, did you win an award or something?
But like, you know, because it's just assumed that, you know, and maybe we can actually be a little bit more, you know, objectifying of him because he's not going to get upset about it.
Yeah, and he's there standing in a Speedo, which let's be honest, like,
I'm
sorry, but like, when I see some of these people coming out and they're standing in speedos, I'm like, geez, fair play to these lads. Like, I'm sure you do worry about it. I'm sure you are like, do I have a hair out of place? Because I'm not going to lie, like, I go to the beach and I worry about my bush. So I can only imagine that
Absolutely.
you're standing there at the podium. I'm sure you're getting waxed to bits before you're coming out here. Right, ahead of International Women's Day, which we actually are recording on International Women's Day here.
I was just about to wish you a happy
No, were you? We've been here like a few hours.
Happy International Women's Day to all of our listeners.
Women in Sport found, this is the Foundation Women in Sport, has found that more than 1 million teenage girls, that's 43%, who once considered themselves sporty, disengage from sport following primary school. A fear of feeling judged by others, about 68%, lack of confidence, about 61%, pressures of schoolwork, 47%, and not feeling safe outside, 43%, were some of the reasons.
That's terrible.
Given for not wanting to participate in sport. 78% say they avoid sport when they have their period, which is another conversation. Again, I know that like some people might be sick of me talking about periods, but
it's one of my favourite topics, to be honest.
Connor, every day he seems like, how's the period?
Go see Grace's stand-up show.
I'm not going to lie, there's a lot. But you know, if men went through periods, you'd hear all the bleeding
you would not hear. I would not stop talking about it.
78% they say they avoid sport because they have their period, and 73% don't like others watching them when they take part in activity, and that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And that's when we talk about athletes actually getting up there and a bit of what it takes to get up there with it being your body and know that everyone's looking at you.
And meanwhile, trying to focus on giving the performance of a lifetime.
Absolutely. We must bust the myth that teenage girls drop out of sport simply because their priorities change. This is from Women in Sport. Our research has shown that 59% of teenage girls who used to be sporty like competitive sport, but they're being failed due to early years stereotyping, inadequate opportunities, and a complete dearth of knowledge about managing female puberty. And I just want to ask you actually, this is actually from a TED Talk, a 12-year-old Eliza Houghton. I just want to use this quote. Sport took me out of my destructive head and put me into my body during a really hard time in my life. She was trying to talk about like what sport can do. Yeah. And actually that's something that teenagers really need, and all of us really need.
Totally.
One thing that I love about working out is that I am in my body. And when I stopped fixating on losing weight, you know, there's times it comes up in my life, do not get me wrong. And by the way, if you want to lose weight out there, it's totally up to you. You know, we're all about the do what you want to your body. But there's something about exercising my body that in exercises I enjoy that just really places me in my body. And for teenagers going through puberty where their body's changing so much, it's so crucial that they get to do what they enjoy and be in their body a bit, because it feels like their body's out of control. And that's what I've always found as a fat person with dieting. It always felt like I'm just trying to control my body in some way.
And to try to make it be the same as everyone else, on the team or in the gym or whatever it is.
Because I know you were saying that kind of sport was room for you. Was there any sport that you kind of...
So I had a very difficult relationship with sport over the years, because like, you know, being a guy, it's kind of like the thing that you're supposed to do.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, it's a conversation starter for every straight man I know.
Like, and it kills me. Like, even like that last episode we did where I had to like talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, I almost fell asleep. I put myself to sleep. But yeah, and it's also, you know, particularly with guys as well, like it's very rough and, you know, kind of like violent kind of experience, you know, and it's kind of survival of the fittest in a lot of ways. So if you are like a sensitive, chubby kid, like you're going to get left out, you know, at best, you know. And in my adult life, I had the realization, I think I sent you a voice note about it at the time. I realized that, like, you know, because I do enjoy being physically active, you know, that's not the problem, but I just hadn't really found my way into it.
You hadn't found your thing.
And I have started to notice as I've gotten older, things that are more individually focused, where you're not being pitted against each other. Things like surfing, things like
you loved the surfing.
Like boxing classes and stuff like that, where you're not like against another person.
You're against a bag.
Like fuck that. You know, yoga, things like that I'm like, right, that's what it is. Because when I try to slot myself into a team of, you know, wannabe athletes, then I'm going to what I believe my discrepancies or shortcomings as, you know, physically or as an athlete.
Or that maybe you've been told.
Well, you're being told in a very real way when you're like the slowest person on a rugby pitch, you know, like you're getting real world feedback going, this is not for me. And I'm being shown and told like, and it doesn't feel good. So therefore I hate sport, but then where does that leave me? You know, so going to things like, even when I was a teenager, like skateboarding and rollerblading, which is very cool. I think everyone's getting a very like filled out picture of me as a person now. But you know what I mean? More individual based kind of things that allow you to kind of have your own experience with it. Now, in each of those sports, you can go the distance. But if you want to just do them yourself for enjoyment and to engage that physical experience like you're talking about, it can be done. You know,
it's great that you're finding it again. I actually say I'm the opposite. I love a competitive sport.
Wow, okay.
And I know I used to do Gaelic football. It's Irish football.
I hated it so
and
much.
I loved it. I loved it. And again, I fell away from that because of weight and because of I just felt like there wasn't a space for me in it. And I'm full back now. Listen, I can catch a ball like it's nobody's business. And I was really good at it. And I just, again, I felt just really out of place. And then badminton's another one that I'm actually going to go back to now because
that's
I love
something
badminton.
I would enjoy as well.
So I think it's like, I'm going to try, there's definitely Gaelic football in London. I'm going to go find it. If I can go to badminton, I'm going to go find it. And like, I think for anyone listening who might also have had a complex relationship with sport, because I love the gym and everything like that, but I miss the play. And that's what sport can be. It can be a bit of play. And we all deserve to have play in our life.
Gyms can feel very unnatural at times, can't they?
Gyms can feel like, or they're isolating. I think there's, you know, I myself, as I get older, I want a bit more fun in my day because life is hard. So to get a bit of exercise in while I'm having the crack.
Have you ever done rock climbing? Like indoor, like on a wall, rock climbing?
I'd rather die.
It's amazing.
You love it?
I mean, I'm not very good at it, but it's so good. What scares you off about it?
Just heights and general rock climbing.
You're on a rope, like.
Yeah, I'd rather die, Connor.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it. Like I just, you know what it is? It's just, I don't, like my upper arm strength isn't great. And I just the thought of being up there on that wall, no way.
But indoor with an instructor, it's a lot of fun.
Listen, we have to wrap up there. But I just wanted to say, to anyone out there who like us has had complicated relationships with sports and hearing Mary's story, I hope it gives you just, I don't know, a bit of hope and to get back out and find the thing you like doing. And to Mary, I know that's not your real name, but thank you so much. I hope you know. I'm going to email you to tell you you've done the episode, but you really led us on to a great topic. Please, if you have a story out there and you'd like us to read it out, let us know. We can always change your name as well. We'd like to keep things anonymous. We'll get your consent before we do it. And if you would like us to talk about a few more sports and go into detail, please let me know because we might do some kind of smaller episodes on it. But anyway, great chatting to you, Connor.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fad Camp. As always, we want to thank our producer, Darren Lee. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to review us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Great ratings and reviews really help more people find the show, and it would mean a lot to us.
Make sure to share the episodes with friends and family or on your social media. Every listen helps.
And we absolutely love hearing from our listeners, so please get in touch with any of your diet stories on fadcamppodcast@gmail.com.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.